ages ago. As you can notice, the case is getting significantly more cluttered with cables. Next, over here, this 4-pin goes up there.
And that is the 4-pin CPU power connector, which powers the processor. You can see the little cable, you can see the little port in there when you move his hand. And that just pushes in there. It only fits in one direction because each of the pins in the connector are differently shaped, so they only fit in one way. It's a safety mechanism to prevent frying your system.
This should be everything installed.
Okay.
Let's double check. All the power stuff is in. Hard drive. Molex 20 plus 4. 4. Everything should be in.
Okay, so what do you say we close this up, hit the power button, see what happens?
Well, we don't necessarily need to close this up in case it doesn't work.
No, but whenever I turn on my computer, I like to make a good habit of just closing it up just in case. So I don't need to take everything apart or put it on while it's on again.
Well, I like leaving mine open in case I need to keep it open.
Well, everyone has their own different habits. Either way is good.
And take out the case cam. That's the end of that recording. Now, notice this is all well and good. Now, in order to power up the computer, you of course need
A monitor,
yes,
the keyboard, because your computer will actually not allow you to turn it on unless it has a text input device. Because the basic input-output system, or the BIOS, needs something to operate it.
yes, your computer will actually give you the error, keyboard not present.
The mouse is actually not necessary for general computer use, but it makes life so much easier.
It is a necessity on most new computers, but your computer will turn on without it.
Yes. If you're really dedicated to try using it without a mouse, the tab button, from my knowledge, is used most frequently to go between selections or browse through menus, along with the arrow keys.
Now, I had a VGA cable here.
And the VGA cable is for
Plugging the monitor through the Video Graphics Accelerator port, also sometimes referred to as the old RGB, or red, green, blue, port on the back of the motherboard.
And what type of connector do new monitors use?
New monitors commonly use either a DVI, digital video interface, or input, one of those two, or an HDMI.
You probably know the HDMI from the back of your PlayStation 3.
Or sometimes your high-definition television. I believe that stands for High-Definition Media Interface. That one, don't quote me on it, because I just basically pulled that one out of thin air.
But it makes sense, so whatever. And that just plugs into the back of your monitor?
Uh-huh.
And there are two rotating knobs. You use those to screw it into place so it will not be removed during any time of usage. On some monitors it can be a little bit annoying, but it is a necessary thing to do. I've actually had the wire pop out of my monitor in the middle of use and I would have thought my monitor broke. Scared the crap out of me. In this back here, it's too dark for me to get a good recording.
Yes, we are installing the I/O panel in the back.
Installing it is not exactly complicated. Everything will only fit in a single slot. But it is still good to know what each thing does.
We will plug in the... Oh wow, that really noticeable there. That DVD drive, it's really noticeable that it's new. Sometimes working with a pre-built case designed for a specific drive is not exactly the greatest idea in the world. Now there's always a bit of a nervousness when you've been maintaining or working with computer parts that it will not turn on when you order it to. You'll never know for certain if it will or won't. All you can do, really, is pray.
Even if you're not a holy man, pray like you are.
Pray as if your computer's fate depended on it, because sometimes it does.
But you always have to remember, if you have built your computer properly and you turn it back on, in the computer world there is no other equivalent satisfaction.
Satisfaction.
Pardon my bad English.
Okay. This computer should start to automatically boot as soon as I plug this in. Never mind.
Okay, the power button has been installed properly.
The beep means system beep. American Megatron's BIOS is running. This means the hard drive, sorry, not the hard drive, the motherboard and CPU have been installed properly.
There's the hardware monitor telling you basic stuff about your
computer. Now it should start booting to the OS.
The operating system, which is Windows XP.
Windows XP. This means we have installed all the hardware on this computer properly. This means this computer is now a fully functioning new computer.
And if you want to take a peek inside at what it's like when it's running,
you'll notice the fans are rotating there.
The CPU fan is rotating. Other than that, nothing really special goes on.
Well, that one rotates as well.
The case fan, which ventilates hot air out, is also spinning.
And this indicates you have installed your hardware correctly.
All that needs to be done now is install
drivers, which is the software that runs your new hardware.
Because your operating system can only support basically basic interface. It needs the software to run everything to its full potential.
This ends building this computer. I'm going to have to move this to its normal location where I have internet to properly install everything. However, we now have a working computer with new motherboard, CPU, RAM, and power supply, and DVD drive. So this computer is now fully built and operational.
Hi, Chris or F-Tang Crazy here. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this educational video on how to build a computer. It was a learning experience for all of us. It was also my first time building a LGA 775 socket computer. I'm used to working with older models, so there was a little bit of an issue there. You would notice with installing the processor fan, I was unaccustomed to it. You may be wondering, why is it called the F-Tang Guide to Build a Computer? Well, me and a group of friends made a group called F-Tang. Basically, it derives from a joke a friend of mine made a while ago in a geography project he made. And it's evolved into a small group of friends who like gaming and other things, and this is one of the other things we enjoyed doing. We built a computer here. So we decided to stick our group name on it, and that's where F-Tang Guide to Building a Computer comes from, it is made by the group of F-Tang. So now you know where that comes from.